we all have our peculiar challenges. We all have one thing or the other that tries to keep us back, but that is not an excuse, and that is not enough for us to stay in a place. So you're welcome this afternoon. Thank you, Ultra Creative, for having me and her network. I am grateful for the invitation. Let's talk about how to leverage our network. I subtitled it Unlocking the Power of Connections for Personal and Professional Growth. Because the things we are going to learn here today can be applied in our professional life, can also be applied in our personal life. So, what are the objectives for today's session? By the end of this session, we should be able to say what networking is, why we need to network, how to build our network, how to expand our network, how to leverage on digital networks. I mean, you heard something about Clarity Group Incorporated in Australia. That was a digital network, a digital connection for me. Strategic networking and then maintaining that network that you have built. So, what is networking? Simply put, networking is building relationships for mutual growth. Building what? Building relationships for mutual growth. Note that I did not just say building relationships for growth, but building relationships for mutual growth. As we go on, I will talk about the place of that mutual relationship because it's very important. It means that when we go into networking, we must be ready to also give something. We shouldn't expect to only take, we must be deliberate to also give something. What are the types of network that we have? We have the personal network, the professional network, and then social networks. This is where we have the digital ones. In terms of personal network, what should we be looking at? Our family, our friends, and our acquaintances. Our family, this has to do with your direct family, blood relations. Your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. These are a type of network, right? The next type of network under the personal has to do with your friends, your old school association, for instance, your church group, your maybe staff group, but those that have become your friends. For instance, there are some of my former colleagues who, interestingly, we are all leading one school or the other now, who over the years we have moved from just being professional colleagues or acquaintances to becoming best of friends. So you have one just to pick your phone and call one of them, sis, how far, so you can also have colleagues who have transcended from being colleagues to becoming friends, right? Then you have acquaintances. They are not your best of friends, but you get along very well. You have one relationship or the other, one connection or the other that you both are aware of. These are the ones we have under the personal network. Then we have the professional network. These are your colleagues, people that you work together or you have worked together before, your mentors, your industry peers. Do you understand? These are your professional network. And we are going to be looking at how to nurture these different networks that we have, pardon me. Because it's important that we realize that every of our network is important. Then the third one is the social networks. There are people here, and Ultra Creative, interestingly, is one of them. There are people today that we came to know each other from the internet. With Ultra Creative, I think it was Instagram. There are some that are from LinkedIn. I don't really do much of Twitter or X, as we call it now, because it's not just my kind of thing. But there was a time that Twitter was my thing, right? So some of the networks that are created on Twitter, I have been able to successfully migrate them from Twitter to Instagram or even to WhatsApp. And there are some that I have met face to face. We have developed a relationship. One of such networks again is with Mrs. Bonjibola Stoney. Bonjibola wrote the foreword to my book, The Lady and Her Purse. But you see, it started as a digital connection. In fact, Bonju is one of my Twitter connections that we moved from Twitter to Telegram. Then Telegram she was the one that made me know Telegram. Telegram was bigger to me than WhatsApp. Okay. So we moved from Telegram. We started from Twitter, moved to Telegram. From Telegram, we moved to WhatsApp and then Facebook, and we moved to real life. Today, she's written the foreword to my book. Today, because of the training that my son went through in her financial bootcamp for children, my son is also an author today, a co-author with several other children that she had trained over the years. And of course, she's the brain behind everything. So yes, there is power to digital networks as well, digital connections. Your network is more than a collection of contacts. It is a living dynamic system of relationships. The power of your network lies in how well you nurture and leverage these connections. It's interesting that when I started building my network deliberately, I didn't start it with the mind of getting something out of it per se. I just wanted to learn. That was how I started building my network. And then it got to a point where I realized that I needed to be more intentional about the relationships I was building in these different networks. So why do you need to leverage your network? Why do you need to work on it? Number one, jobs. According to JobVite, a job seeker study, 70% of jobs are found through networking. I know somebody who knows somebody that knows somebody. 70%. So when people say that in Nigeria, if you don't know anybody, you cannot go far, it is not peculiar to Nigeria. It is the nature of mankind. God created us to be social. Why did he have to create Eve shortly after he created Adam? Because we were not created to live in isolation. We were not created to be alone. We were created to work together, to be part of a group. Do you understand? It is also why you see that a good number of animals work in groups, in packs. There are a few that move around alone, but a larger percentage move together. If they are not moving as a large group, there will be a small group of twos. It could be mother and a child at first, and then mother and children. But you have a lot of animals that have a connection. Even the ones that are individuals, there are times during their mating season when they come together and stay around another gender of that same species, of that same type of animal, just for that relationship. So yes, through networking, you can get job opportunities. The second one has to do with opportunities generally now. Opportunities arise from your ability to tap into your network's resources. I have gotten many opportunities from tapping into my network. I have also been able or been privileged to give out opportunities to diverse people. There are times when I have given out opportunities and regretted it, but did that stop me from giving out opportunities? No, even though there was a time I made up my mind that no, I'm not going to refer people again. I'm not going to help people again because maybe they didn't deliver or it wasn't appreciated or something. But the fact remains that through your network, you can get a lot of opportunities. Joy, please mute your mic. Thank you. Joy Keyboard, please mute your mic. Another thing you can get from networking is sales. What do I mean? In making sales, one important factor is trust. People will find it easier to buy from you when they trust you. How can you build trust on a large scale? Network. When I was going to sell, the first time I sold a course was in 2022, early 2022. And majority, if not all the people on that course came from the network I had at that time. Earlier this year, I launched another course and I ran a sponsored advert for it. As much as I can boldly say that I got some people from the sponsored advert, I still had to nurture those contacts for a while for them to see that I could be trusted and that I would not run away with their money. But I can say to you that the percentage of contacts, of sign-ups I got from that sponsored advert is not up to half of the people who registered for the course. What does that mean? It means that all the others who registered came from where? My network. Then again in August, I launched another course. I launched my third course. This time was specific, was niche specific, just English writing. And I had 82 people eventually register for the course. Guess what? Every single one of the 82 people came from my different networks. I leveraged on about 5 or 6 network relationships and I got 82. Then I launched a fourth one. Now that's writing. I launched it in 2 weeks and I got 82 people. I didn't even do any sponsored advert. I planned to, but somehow Facebook had other plans. Then in 1 week, in September, I launched a comprehension class. In 1 week, I sold 42 in 1 week. Only leveraging once again on a network or on a group of networks. That's to show you that when it comes to sales, and for these people, it's either, their boss registered them or something. But how did that boss find out about my course? Somebody who knew me and knew that boss served as a bridge. The person simply shared my program as a broadcast and it went through. Like I said, I leveraged on several network groups to achieve this. So let's talk about why we're here, right? Which is the networking in itself. Let's talk about building meaningful relationships. This building relationships is actually building your network. Remember, I'd mentioned at the beginning that a network or building a network is simply building a mutually beneficial relationship. So what's the first thing? The very first thing is be genuine. See, authenticity is very important. People will follow you. People will watch you. What are they watching for? What are they looking out for? They want to see if you are genuine. They want to see if you can be trusted. They want to see if what you say is who you are. So don't try to copy somebody else. Don't try to copy somebody's style. Yesterday, I was at ASEAN Principals Conference, and guess what? I was nominated for a board role. Now, this is like the third or fourth time that I will be nominated. In previous times, I would find an excuse. But even in the previous roles, the roles were not board roles, they were executive roles. But this one is an executive role that overlaps a board role. Each time I'll find an excuse, I'll find a reason not to accept or to run away. Yesterday, when my name was called, 2 days ago, I first got a call. You were nominated for XYZ. Are you aware? I said, yes, the person mentioned it to me, but I don't know them. I was called by the ASEAN chairperson, and then she said, I'm actually thinking of another role. And then she mentioned the role, and I said, I'm not sure. I don't want to take my time. I'm busy already, and all that, and all that, and all that. But the other option too was not going to be easy. Eventually, by the time we finished the conversation, I knew that this other one that was opening into a board role might be the one. But it was up for votes. And so we got into yesterday's meeting, and then they reeled out names, and I was thinking, okay, good, they are going to vote, so I may not even get it again this time. Before I ran away, now maybe I won't even get it. Guess what? I returned unopposed. And as the chairman was announcing, so Mrs. Olamide Babatunde, you return unopposed for the role of this. One of the former board chair began to laugh. I looked at her like, when we finished, I went to her and said, Ma, you know why you were laughing? He said, so you know that you cannot hide forever. What happened? The people who had a say, the people who made nominations, have known me for years. And so they could say that this person is who she says she is. She's genuine, she can be trusted. When an association like that trusts you with not just an executive role, but a role that leads into board and has to do with finances running into millions, you know that they have checked you out. So people will check you out. 5th of October, Teachers' Day, I spoke as a panelist. And one of the other panels, as we finished, it was break time. So it was networking break, actually. So as I moved around, this lady, dignified lady, joined my conversation with another person and said, I would like to have you in my WhatsApp group. So I was wondering, does she know me? So the other man was trying to say, oh, okay, yes, you do this, you do this. And she said, oh, I don't need to ask you any questions. As we were talking, I went online, I checked you out immediately, and you check out well. So are you who you say you are? Are you genuine? Are you trying to copy Ultra Creative because, oh, she's this, she's that? Are you trying to copy somebody? Are you trying to be somebody who you are not? There's a saying, be you, everybody else is taken. That's the truth. So no matter who you copy, you would always be a second fiddle. You would always be a duplicate, a copy of the genuine one. Would you really like to be a duplicate? I know I wouldn't like that. So the first rule to networking is to be genuine. If you copy and you're able to sway people initially, they will soon find out. Okay, look at that lady now that went online to check me out. Imagine that I had lied about some of the things I'd said or who I was. Right there and then, the woman will know that this person is the liar. Do we understand? The second thing is to provide value first. See, before I could come out to say I was launching a course, I have been giving value, free value, on my wall, on my pages. Recently, someone chatted me up on Facebook Messenger. And then he brought up another message that somebody else had sent years ago. I'm talking of many, many years ago, like 2013, 2014, 2015. And even as far back as those times, I was already giving value, free value. I would put them up in long posts on Facebook. I would share to Facebook groups. Not because I wanted anything in return from anyone, but I felt, okay, so I have this learning, this knowledge, and I want other people to have this. How can I communicate? I used my digital communication, my digital networks. Apart from giving value that way, another thing was giving help. Sometimes serving other people for free. You must be ready to provide value first. Very important. Then consistency. I just mentioned that as far back as 2013, 2014, you check my Facebook profile, as far back as those years, I was dishing out value back to back, or even before then. When I was, I think during my service year or waiting to go for NYSC, I started what is now known as email marketing. Sometimes when I sit back, I ask myself, I wish I had never stopped. And so some of the things I do now, when it seems they are not yielding the kind of results I want, I don't give up anymore. Because then I didn't know anybody doing that. But I had magazines that I subscribed to. One of it was Edwin Lusco's magazine. He's late now. And I've tried to subscribe again. Then anybody could subscribe. So even though I was a lady, I subscribed because his newsletter was for men. But I liked the content and I felt I don't have to be a man to be a person of value. So I subscribed. And so I also did something similar. I didn't realize it was a newsletter I was doing then. But when I study things from God's word or God teaches me things, I think it was every week. I didn't have a particular pattern, but it was regular. I would send emails to all my contacts. Not all, to most. I had this, I was trying to look for it, but I guess maybe I deleted it with the old one to see, okay, if I can even restart. I'm talking of as far back as 2005, 2006, all the way to like, I think 2007. Then I stopped sometime in, I think 2007 or so. Why? Because I was sending emails, people were not responding. I would send emails teaching them things that God had taught me, lessons and all that from God's word consistently. And then shortly after I stopped, I met one of the people on that email list. We had lost touch, but I didn't know that he used to look forward to those emails but guess what? Before I stopped, I kept asking them, if it has blessed you in any way, please let me know, just respond. They didn't respond. So I stopped thinking maybe they were not even reading it. And then I ran into this young man. And after greeting me, he asked why I stopped sending him emails. And I said, it's not just you. I stopped sending to everybody. He asked why. I said, oh, they were nobody was responding. So I thought I was boring you people or I was wasting my time. I remember that recently and I was like, wow, God taught me some things early on that people are now just knowing. Maybe if I'd continued then, maybe I would have become something else by now. But that doesn't mean I regret it. I'm just sharing with you how consistent I have been in giving out value. Because when I stopped then, I moved on to something else. I tried to do something that was more physical, having a physical event regularly. And I did that for like 2 years before the space I was using closed up. And the other space I got was too far for people and all that, you know. So you have to be consistent. Don't do something for 1 or 2 weeks or 1 or 2 months and then give up. You must be consistent. Keep in touch. Don't just reach out when you need something. I'm going to talk about that more as we go on. I'm checking my time now and I still have like maybe 10 more slides to go. When you focus on giving more than receiving, you build trust and goodwill. These are the foundations of a strong network. See, if you are a needy person, people can sense it and they will run away from you. If you are trying to build a connection because you want to get something, people will know and they will also give you some distance. So don't focus on building your network because you want to get from people. Build your network just for the sake of doing it. First, to give, to belong to a body, to be a part of. Let's look at what to do. Right now, you have a network, whether you realize it or not. Remember, I took you through the different kinds of network. So if you don't have anything at all, you have a personal network and a professional network. The only reason why you will not have a professional network is if you are not working. Well, I believe that you have one way or the other. So you have a personal network, you have a professional, and you have a digital network or a social network. Why? You are on social media. See those your followers, they are part of your network. Let me quickly chip this in. The quality of your network also matters a lot, especially when we're talking about social now. So there are people that will check you out and they want to know who you follow. So who do you follow? If you send me a friend request, see, my friend request is a long list. Some dates back to years. Do you know why? I take my time. I don't just accept every. One thing that can get you accepted into my network the fastest is when you, what's that word now? When you are a friend to a friend of mine. And I'm not saying one. If you're a friend to 4 people that I know, and so, but when I see that you're a friend to like 80 something, okay, this person is really in my network already, I would accept that quickly. But otherwise, I will take my time, go to your page and see the kind of things that you post. If you are constantly resharing, I'm sorry, I will not accept you into my network. It means you do not realize that you have value to give. I won't let you waste my time. And I won't let you put rubbish on my timeline. Do you understand? If I check your page and I cannot see your picture, I cannot see who you are, I will not accept you into my network as well. If you are the one that shares too much of politics, I will not accept you. If you are the one that reshares all these funny kinds of posts that abuse women or abuse men or abuse pastors, sorry, I can block you. Not just that I will not accept now. Do you understand? I'm not just declining, I will also block you. Because I am particular about what comes into my space, whether physical, mental, or social. You will not bring rubbish into my space. If I follow somebody because the person gave value that I liked, and then I click the follow button, then one day I see a strange content, I will unfollow. If you have been given value, but you don't give value again, you didn't post a strange content, but you stopped giving value, I will unfollow. You cannot be on my timeline for no reason or for decoration, unless I don't have your time. There are people that I actively follow such that if I am not seeing their post for a while, I will search their name and go and read up so that they can come back into my timeline. Do you understand? So I gave you that free of charge. It's not part of what we are talking about now. So let's look at how you can then expand. You know, we started with building your network here. This is where we talked about building it. Be genuine, provide value, be consistent. Now that you have started building your network, how do you expand it? This is practical now. Join professional groups and communities. Attend conferences, whether digital or physical. When I attended the October 5 conferences I talked about, the one by Teacher Come Millionaire, I met her first online. I joined her conference last year online. Then this year, she invited me not just as a panelist, but to come physically. So now that network has moved from digital or social to a physical social network. These professional groups, not all of them will be free. Let me say the truth. If you are constantly looking for free, you will not get the quality of people that will take you to the top. You can take that to the bank. You want professional groups that will put you in places that matters, in government houses, and other kinds of places where decisions are made. You are not likely to find them in the free. They might be there, but they will not pick you from there. And then, so when I was going to start joining professional networks, again, I started joining professional networks as far back as 2007. And guess what? I deliberately joined groups that were not in Nigeria. That does not mean that I did not value the Nigerian groups, but I had a goal. I had where I was going to. Where was I going? I wanted to be global in my thinking and in my delivery. So my competition was not the teacher in the next class. My competition was not even my boss. My competition was that educator across the globe, in the US, in the UK, in China, in India, in Japan, in Germany. Do you understand? So I joined professional teacher groups outside Nigeria, many of them, and I was active. I was contributing, I was reading, I was commenting. Now, Instagram and X and TikTok and all that, they have made us lose a bit of appreciation for Facebook. But where did I find those groups? On Facebook. Now, on most of these other groups, you can only follow them, which is why Instagram is now trying to build communities. But even in those communities, you can't all be contributing like you will do on a Facebook group. And WhatsApp too is trying to build channels. See, on those Facebook communities and groups, I made some contacts. I built some connections as well. Then I had a special needs in what year now? There was 1 year I then had a special needs learner who had hearing impairment. I went on one of those groups and I posted. And another special education teacher reached out to me to say, oh, I have been a special education teacher for 20-something years. I am also mom of a special needs, I think, is it 1 or 2? Let's collaborate. I can give you resources. She asked for my email. Once she asked for my email, other people who came on the post, oh, me too, I'm interested in the resources. And she said, oh, drop your emails as well. She sent me resources. I was able to work with this child. This student now is now in the UK. He's doing excellently well. I will stay with the parents and I was talking like a pro, but I was actually leaning on the wealth of wisdom I got from my Facebook friend across the world. Do you understand? I built on it. And I also looked for something that I could also share with her as a way of appreciating her. Now you have those Facebook groups, you have LinkedIn. Of course, after a while, I also began to join the teacher groups in Nigeria because I then wanted to also have the local connection. Reach out to new people. Step outside your comfort zone. Don't be on those groups and just keep mute. Who knows you are there? Who knows you? Who knows your name? I went somewhere some months ago. In fact, 2 places recently. One was in first week of September. Another was this October. And all I had to do was say my name. That one in the first week of September, I walked in. I just guessed that was the person I was looking for. Walked up to her, greeted her. She was looking like, who is this? And then I said, I'm Olamide. She's like, oh. Because I was not silent. There was a time that I would be there and I'll be like, as long as I'm learning, it's okay. It is not humility when you are quiet and you are not contributing. It is not humility. Sorry. It is usually as a result of self-esteem issues. I'm sorry if I'm breaking your table today. So, oh, I'm there. I don't want to talk. I don't want anybody to know me. Then why did you say you want to expand your network? It means you don't want to. You're just deceiving yourself. So step outside your comfort zone. Last year, there was this educators hangout by Teacherbody. I think my payment was made the night before the hangout. But I almost didn't go like, they are teachers now, I'll be the only school leader there. But I also wanted to just have fun and connect. I'd not relaxed for a while. Do you know, I was glad I went. In fact, many of the people there were people that we had known each other online, but that was our first time meeting, 1. 2, there were some that it was at that event I met them, and we have connected ever since. But there was one of them, we met there. Now we call ourselves sis. This year we met again at the event I attended physically. She's a big madam in education, even though she's a quiet one, but she's a powerhouse. And right there and then, she was already telling me about her birthday coming up, next year's birthday. You can imagine. She was already telling me, she said, Mama, you have to be there. And I looked at it. It was because I chose to step out of my comfort zone. When they were all introducing themselves, oh, I teach this. Me too. I said, I teach English. I didn't tell them I'm a school leader or I've been a school leader. I just wanted to be in that different environment. And it worked. it was later when one of my former staff came for that same event. I was like, this is my boss. So she was like, say, I beg, keep quiet. But the point is, I decided to step out of my comfort zone so I could connect with new people again. Sometimes I would, now there's something I've been doing since last year now. Some of the groups or conferences that I'm attending are not education conferences because I have other interests. And like every one of you here, as humans, you are not one faceted, you are multifaceted, meaning that there are many parts to you. I'm a woman of many parts, like very many parts. Beyond education, there are other things I do. Before I was on this call, I was at a physical event for another part of me. Before I came back home to join this event, because it was happening close to my house. But you see, even there and then, I was making connections. Number 3, follow up. When you meet people, you connect with them, send a message, send a thank you message, send like John Todd, the head of Charterhouse. We had met years ago at ASEN. Then he left Nigeria. Yesterday, when he saw me, he looked at my face like, I walked up to him and I told him, oh, okay, I'd like to visit you at work. Before I left, I collected his card. And I told him, we are connected on LinkedIn. I'll tag you when I post. Do you know the moment I made the post this morning, he shared to his own network? I could have felt like, Charterhouse director. Oh. And was I saying, okay, when do I want to come? And I said, no, that'll be early next year when things are more set. We just had a small talk and all that. But I made sure that there was an impression and I followed up today with a post. By reaching out through that. Please give me a minute.
All right, so I hope everyone is following in. I hope everyone is following, and I hope we are all taking notes. I dropped some things in the comment space. These are powerful guidelines. Trust me, I'm also learning so much. And after this, I think I'm also going to sit back and just try to also readjust my network, the moves, the strategies, and ways to do better. So I would also like us to just, while Mrs. Babatunde is going on, try to also drop what you've learned so far in the comment space so that we know that we are all following. So feel free to just keep dropping in the comment space while she goes on. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Ultra Creative. Apologies, everyone. Because I'm trying to burn through my slides in record time, I'm not engaging you as I should. So thank you to Ultra Creative for doing that. So if you are still with me, please drop the fire emoji. That's my favorite emoji. So drop the fire emoji if you are still with me.
All right.
Now, I've talked about building and growing. Now, how do you leverage? That's how do you use, that's the meat of why we're here, right? How do you use this network? You have built trust, you have given value, you have also served and helped them. I'm not seeing the fire emojis. Do you want me to stop? Thank you, Georgina. Seems to be the only one with us, right? Okay, Precious. Abiodun, I don't know how to pronounce Oriofe, I believe. But okay, anybody else with us here? Okay. All right. So 1, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a networking gold mine. I told you about my Australian connection. See, one thing about LinkedIn is that sometimes the opportunities will come to you. But you see, for the opportunities to find you, you have to put yourself out there, that you have to show up, you have to be consistent, you have to give value. It is when they see that you are doing these things that it becomes easy for people to approach you. So the Australian consult had approached me for something else. And I gave, was free. I gave freely and all that. Afterwards, I also got free offers for them, from them. There was even one that I should have paid $100. Others paid $100. I got free pass. Why? Because when they gave me the free opportunities, you know what I did? I made a lot of noise about those opportunities. I would come on LinkedIn and post about it. I would share nuggets. I would share the things that I took away from there, and I would tag everybody on that call. So as the call is going on, I'm writing the names of everybody that is there. Then I will look for them on LinkedIn and tag them on that post. And so, you know what I was doing for that consult? It was making them more popular, especially with the people over there. Because guess what? In each of those calls, I was the only African. Okay, there were 3 or 4 calls. I was the only African in 2 or 3. Then the last one, there was an African American. But you know those ones that they have never lived outside America. And so in networking, LinkedIn is something you should not joke with. Build your network on LinkedIn. Engage, comment, share valuable content. Okay? So don't just post. You see that sharing the content came last. I didn't put it forward. Don't think, let me just post and walk away. No. Engage with other people's posts. Share your own view. Now, when I say share your own view, I'm not saying you should now say, maybe that is you. I can do it better. No, that's not what I'm saying. So let's say somebody shares, like there was one yesterday, the person shared about how being a quiet person, she had to work on herself to be able to network. I shared the fact that, I have an almost equal temperament blend, but even then, I see that I use more temperament blend more than the others to be able to consistently have results. That's sharing my own perspective. I am lending my voice to that person's post. Meanwhile, I made sure that yesterday I didn't even do a fresh post for myself. I only shared another person's post. But I made sure that I was engaging on another person's post. I was commenting. When you share insightful feedback, it makes people notice you. Do you understand? Other places, Twitter, I'm not used to calling it X yet, forgive me. So engage on Twitter, especially when you understand the language. But please remember that you are building a brand. So avoid getting involved in controversial topics, in politics, or making insulting remarks on comments on people's posts using your brand page. In fact, avoid those kind of things altogether. Because even if you do it with a personal page, if we Google you, we will see that you are this kind of person. Okay? So build a personal brand. On my Instagram page, so I have multiple Instagram accounts. Because like I said, there are different parts to me. I have my personal account, which is my personal blog. I can share insights. I can share birthday posts and all that. I have my educators page where I consistently, for a long time, was sharing reels, teaching people specific things, gaps I noticed with educators I interacted with. I have 2 brands that 2 pages that are focused on my beauty brand. I have another that is focused on a jewelry brand or accessories brand. But if you see me connect anything to my LinkedIn or Facebook, it will be my personal brand. Then to the LinkedIn, I can also connect my educator brand because there is a goal, right? And then as you move on, participate in conversations, then turn these online connections into real world relationships. I've told you a couple that I've done already. Where we met online, but now we have met in real life where we're almost, or we're now friends or even sisters, because I made those connections into real world relationships. I need you to remember this, that your digital presence is a key element in building and maintaining a network. People will go online. They want to see who you are. So make sure that your profile reflects the value that you bring to others. Make sure that your profile reflects the value that your brand or that you're trying to build in your brand. Remember what I said about your wall? So if you have on your wall where you have posted, for instance, when I started my network marketing business, I was posting all my perfumes, all my stuff on my wall. Then one day I realized I was going to confuse people because it was now in competition with my valuable post and all that. So I sat down, I didn't finish deleting, but I deleted a lot for like maybe a year or two, all the way back. So now people will see more of my personal stuff on my personal page and then go to my business page to see the other things. If I will post anything on my personal page that is not really personal, it will be my education brand. Maybe, I'm speaking at a conference because it is tied to my personal brand. Now I have to fly, literally, because our time is moving fast. Okay, so how to network with purpose? Number one, know your goals. What do I want to take away from this? Why am I doing this? So define what you want to achieve through networking. Is it just job opportunities? Is it partnerships? Is it mentorship? Be clear. For me, I wanted to establish my brand. I wanted to be a voice. And I believe that I've been able to achieve that. So now I am extending it and building on being a global voice and creating international partnerships. And I'm already achieving that as well. In fact, sometime in maybe June, July, I was invited by another international connection to contribute to his book that's coming up early next year. And I've submitted my own part. Okay. So now I am focusing more on establishing myself. So now I'm not building as a global voice. I am now establishing as a global voice and building strategic partnerships. My goals have changed. So your goals will change as you achieve one goal, you move to another, right? Then target the right people. Remember I mentioned earlier that if you want quality people, you will not get them in free rooms. You may get some in free rooms, but if you really want the good ones, be ready to pay premium. When I was marketing my mentorship, so different people have approached me to mentor them, to coach them, and says, okay, there are so many, I can't do just one-on-one. So it's going to be a class, a group. In our onboarding session, I told them, I said, the fee I'm charging is chicken change because when I did it in 2017, I charged 2.5 times this amount. I'm charging this amount now, one, because I'm not in a space where I need that money to survive. One. Two, I want to make it accessible. I have one or two people on that coaching call who are wondering why I'm charging that ridiculous amount. Like, how much did you say you're charging again? No. But you see, there's a reason why. And then I told them how much I have spent. Let me share some of them with you. I have done, yes, there have been programs of 5,000, 7,500. I have done programs where I paid over 300K at a time when my salary was 120,000. So imagine how long it took me. I was on an instrumental payment plan. Imagine how long it took me to pay 300 and something, 355,000. Imagine. I've done another one that was 150,000 and I had to pay the 150,000 in 2 months. So you know what I did? I started paying like end of this month. Then, so that's 50K out of a salary of 120, a married woman with children. Ha. By the time I paid that 50K, even me and my account, you know that yes, the Lord is our help. Because by the time you take out your field money, take out this one, you have paid your tithe. How much do you have left? Zero. In fact, -0, if there's anything like that. I have also paid $100 for a 3-day program before, but it gave me access to some rooms. So target the right people. Make sure that the individuals you are connecting with align with your goals. So don't target anyhow. No. Remember, I mentioned word raising teenagers. I'm also a teens pastor. I'm likely to follow those pages. I won't just follow anyhow. Then be specific. When you get a chance to talk to these people, be specific about what you want from them. Don't go, good morning. That thing annoys me. People come into your space and they say, good morning, how are you? And they don't say anything. And then they say they are waiting for me. They're waiting for me to respond before they say why they're in my inbox. I'm never going to respond to you. I don't have that time. In the same way, you go into somebody's space.
All right, so well done, everybody. Thanks for staying tuned. Thanks for staying back. So let's just keep dropping what we're learning, what we've learned so far in today. Feedback matters a whole lot. So please keep dropping. What have you learned so far? What have you picked from this? What is that thing differently? And I hope we are all jotting down questions because I expect us to ask questions. That's why we are here. How do you leverage your network? What steps will you start taking going forward? So I would really like us to drop it in a comment space. All right, thank you.
So as we begin to round off, I need you to realize that networking is more effective when it's intentional. Okay? Identify the areas in your life or career where you need support, and then focus on building relationships with people who can help. But remember, so if, for instance, the people you are connecting with are people higher up that you need them to pull you up, then you must also be ready to serve. Don't say, I don't want anybody to use me. You are using them, so let them use you. You are using them to grow. You are using them to develop your own voice. You are using them to build your brand. So be ready to be used, meaning that be ready to serve pro bono, free of charge. But there will come a time where there was a time when I would do some things free, but now there are some things that as people are coming to my inbox, I'm telling them this is how much I charge per hour or per day. What you have requested will require a whole day of my time. This is your bill. Now, at first, some of the people who used to get free might feel like, it's expensive, or why are you charging? But usually those will be the people who are on your level. The people that you have come to meet in your network, in the process of building your new network. See those people. They are not likely to price it. They are not likely to tell you it's expensive because you have proven that you have value. I have given value, you have served. If they can't afford it or is above their budget, they may tell you, this is what I can do. And then you negotiate. But even in that negotiation, there are ways you talk. They'll not make you look as if I'm defeated. You'll be like, oh, okay. I can actually give you a discount of so. It's actually language, it's coding. You have just accepted their price. But so that next time they will also know, but that's not where we are now. We are still building. Okay. So that's another conversation. So to maintain your network, nurture the existing ones. Check in with them regularly. There are some people that if I've not heard from a while, I'll just reach out. Hey, I'm just checking on you. So now, in terms of a network, I have people that are ahead. I have people that have come to meet in their network from paying my dues over time. I have people I'm also pulling up. I make sure that I nurture the connections across the 3 levels. Do you understand? As I'm talking to the people ahead, I'm talking to the people on my level, I'm talking to the people behind me. Oh, how are you doing? I'm checking on this. How far did you go with XYZ? You mentioned the last time we talked. It is for a reason. Because there are times that the people who are coming behind are the ones that will have your back. There are times that will give you the next connect. And there are times that the people ahead will be the ones to pull you up. So nurture all your existing connections. When they achieve something, congratulate them. Offer to help, especially if you have gifts in that field. And that's another way you can actually build a network, through volunteering. Then be a connector. This is something I do a lot. Introduce people within your network to each other when they can help. When you get help from people, appreciate it. See, like everything in life, your network requires maintenance. The stronger your relationships, the easier it will be when it is time to leverage them, when you need them, the easier it will be. Let's quickly run through these common networking pitfalls. Avoid being transactional. End there. Build a relationship with that person. That's how the person becomes a returning customer. That's how the person gives you a referral. Don't neglect your network. Nurture these relationships. Even when you don't need anything from them, just nurture for the sake of nurturing. Don't fail to follow up. Remember, I mentioned follow up. Stay engaged, especially after you have just made the initial connection. Follow up, engage with them, talk to them. Make sure that you follow up. So, tips for today. In other words, your homework. Make a list of people that you haven't connected with in a while in your network. Take a picture of this place and make sure you do it and submit to Ultra Creative. Then identify events, conferences, or online communities that you are going to join in the next 3 months. The third part, reach out to 3 people in your network with a message of value. It can be a quote, it can be something you learned from a book. 3 people, just 3. You can try to do more, but share something of value with them. The summary of all we have learned today is that networking is a powerful tool for growth, but it requires time and genuine efforts. Joy, please mute your mic. Thank you. Joy, please mute your mic. The key to leveraging, staying consistent, and being intentional.
Don't know why.
Thank you. So the key to leveraging your network is providing value, staying consistent, person. But if you don't nurture the relationships, you will lose them. Okay? So when done right, your network can unlock opportunities beyond what you imagine. You have learned all you need to build and leverage on your network today. What are you going to do with it? Here are my contacts. You can connect with me on these pages. You have my number. But with my number, I advise you to reach out on WhatsApp first. I don't do well with phone calls because I get a lot of calls as a school leader. So unless I absolutely have to be on a call, I'll rather chat. Thank you very much for having me, Ultra Creative. I believe that you got value. Okay. Back to your assignment, everybody. Take a picture, write this down, do them, and send to Ultra Creative. I'll take just 3 questions and then I'll be out. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Also,
much.
before I go, I need you to go into, thank you. I need you to go into the comment section and tell me one thing at least that you're taking away from today's Zoom call.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. I would like us to appreciate our speaker. I would really like us to appreciate Mrs. Babatunde. Thank you so much, Ma. I really appreciate. Like, I've learned so much. I just kept taking notes, and I'm definitely going to do better after this. So, I would like us, if you have a question, kindly click on the virtual hand there. Just raise your hand up. We just need 3 people to ask questions, at least so we know that yes, we are all together and we've actually learned something. So who are those that have questions? If you have questions, and while we wait for those that want to ask their questions, also drop in the comment space one thing you've learned. Everybody, we need to see everybody's comments. So what have you learned today? What are you taking home today? And let's also not forget the assignment I'll be expecting, and I'll also drop it so that people can send in their feedback as well. So I'm waiting. I'm in the comment space. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Georgina. Thank you for your response. Thank you so much, Elistar Consult. Okay. All right. So any question? We have 2 more minutes. Any question? All right. So I think let me just read the first one
Beautiful.
here. Okay, this was a super session. Thank you so much, Ma, for your time. Okay, to engage with other people, post more. I have not done. Okay, I learned to network intentionally. That's super nice. Building a network with people above at my level and lower than nurture them with intentionality. Okay. One of the things that stood out for me is you being silent in a community does not make you humble. Very good. To be
At all.
in my network, I learned that in leveraging network, being consistent matters a lot. So I'm super nice. We all actually picked something, and let's not just be the hearer like the Bible says, but the doer of the word. So you're not just hearing, you're not just learning, but also be a doer. Like, make sure it reflects in your behavior, it reflects in everything you do, your personality, your brand, your character, your speaking as well. So I just want to say very big thank you, everybody, for your time. And thank you once again, Mrs. Babatunde. I really appreciate. I just sent a message
You're welcome.
decline. I really appreciate it, Ma. Thank you so, so much. Thank you so much, Ma. All right. Thank you, everybody, once again. And we'll call it a day. Have a wonderful day. Let's go back to reflect on what we've learned. And I want to see, I know most everybody in this call today. So definitely I would know if you've started putting everything in practice going forward. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, there is a question. Hold on. There is a question quickly before we go off.
Okay.
What identification card do I need to get verified on LinkedIn? To be candid, the international passport. So they would ask for the national ID, but for some reason, it will not go through. So it's asking for international passport. Even me, I have stopped the process. Now it prompts me like almost every few hours for it. But because my international passport expired, I was like, do another one. I'm not going to bother again. Because the national ID that it's asked us to use, I get you verified.
Can we still hear her? Can anyone still hear?
You're welcome.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, we're done, Ultra Creative.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you, everybody, and do have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you. So I'll send in the
Thank you.
recording to Ma.
All right, I'll be interested in that as well.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right.